The FAA releases a biweekly large aircraft report of all of the airworthiness directives that have come out. What is in that report? Hi, I'm Morgan, and this is an aviation safety alert. This is something that I would like to start making part of the videos that I make. So this is the large aircraft biweekly report for December 29th, 2025 through January 11th, 2026. These are categorized in priority 1, which is immediate action, priority 2, which is near-term compliance, and priority 3, scheduled and revised directives. This first slide just has an overview of what all of these airworthiness directives are, but I'll go into more detail on later slides. This first one that is in the level 1 immediate action required category was an expansion of a previously released emergency airworthiness directive that affects Airbus A319, 320, and 321 flight controls. The risk under this airworthiness directive is loss of aircraft control and uncommanded elevator movement may exceed the aircraft structural capability, leading to loss of continued safe flight and landing. And after going through this one, this is just an expanded part of the previously issued emergency airworthiness directive for these planes and for this component. The component is affected ELAC units, and it would be to replace, deactivate, and identifying where those are. But this is still part of that same emergency airworthiness directive that was already issued. The second level 1 immediate action required is for General Electric GE 90 series engines. The risk that is identified in this airworthiness directive is uncontained engine failure, premature fracture of high pressure turbine HPT discs could result in uncontained debris release, damage to the engine, and damage of the airplane. This is broken into 2 actions, immediate action and near-term action. So on this side in the red box, the parts that are part of this serial number combination, so there are 12 in total, this is just a subset of those, they will have to remove from service. This is an immediate action that's required if it is under one of the 12 serial numbers listed in the airworthiness directive. And near-term action for different compliance terms apply to other affected discs identified. So maybe these are some that they are possibly concerned about, but they haven't been identified as having this failure. The next section is level 2, which is near-term compliance. It is also related to those same General Electric GE 90 series engines, and it is for scheduled removal. So the context, this covers HPT disc identified in that service bulletin that was listed before, but not requiring immediate before further flight action, which was that second section. So that mandate states that stage 1 and stage 2 disc are in different categories, remove from service and replace at next piece part exposure or before exceeding 4,650 cycles since new CSN, whichever occurs first. And the HPT stage 2 disc, remove from service and replace, and the deadline for that at next piece part exposure or before exceeding 11,300 CSN, whichever occurs first. This next level 2 near-term compliance is with regard to aerospace and defense oxygen system, SAS from Safran, portable breathing equipment. So this is a PBE that crew use on board the aircraft. So the risk, crew incapacitation. Incorrect usage of the PBE could prevent a crew member from accomplishing tasks during an emergency or result in fatal injury. It's caused by reports of incorrect PBE usage, and it prompted a clarified instruction. So This applies to PBE part number 15-40F-11, and then also this one, I won't read it out. And these PBEs may be installed on any aircraft. And the mandate states that updating procedures for donning the PBE as specified in their updated bulletin. So the deadline for this one is within 30 days after the effective date, and the effective date is January 14th, 2026. The next one is applicable to ATR 42 maintenance program updates, and I believe JSX is the main operator of this aircraft in the United States. So this has two separate airworthiness directives. So the first is reduce structural integrity or controllability of the airplane. The mandate states to revise the existing maintenance and inspection program in accordance with EASA's airworthiness directive, which is listed right here, 2025-0005. So that's on ATR 42-500 models. The second one is a potential for ignition sources inside fuel tanks, and the mandate states to revise the existing maintenance and inspection program in accordance with an EASA airworthiness directive, a different one, which is 2025-004. And this applies to ATR 42 200s, 300s, and 320 models. And the deadline for this one, revise the maintenance program within 90 days after the effective date, which is February 9th, 2026. Now we're on to level 3, which is scheduled and revised directives. So this is for Airbus 330 and 340 passenger and crew doors. The risk is failure of timely passenger evacuation. Improperly rigged doors could jam during slide deployment, preventing a successful evacuation. So this was caused by reported occurrences of forward passenger and crew doors jamming during slide deployment, and it has a wide applicability across A330 models. And so those are all listed here and in the airworthiness directive. So comply with the required actions this was an EASA airworthiness directive listed here. And the deadline is compliance based on the timeline of the EASA airworthiness directive from the effective date, which is February 9th, 2026. Next in the level 3 is applied to Airbus A350 flight controls. And the risk is loss of aircraft control, hydraulic fluid contaminating a flight control remote module FCRM electronic card, and could lead to a runway, rudder, or elevator surface. Runaway, not runway, sorry. The cause, it was reported a loss of control of an outbound aileron surface was traced to hydraulic fluid contaminated of an FCRM card. Oh, sorry, I had to get a drink of water. This applies to all Airbus A350-941 and A350-1041 models, and it is to be in compliance with an EASA airworthiness directive, and compliance required based on the timeline of the EASA airworthiness directive from the effective date of January 13th, 2026. Okay, the last level 3 scheduled and revised directives applies to this DAR TBM 700 vertical stabilizer structure. My understanding is these in the U.S. are operated by charter airlines, and the risk is reduced structural integrity of the vertical stabilizer due to cracking of the attachment fitting. It's caused by reports of cracks due to corrosion on a vertical stabilizer attachment fitting, and it applies to all TBM 700 airplanes, which I am glad we're just going to say TBM 700. And it does list the serial numbers 001 through 308 and 310. And finally, here is a summary. So we have the priority 1, 2, and 3. Here's the airworthiness directive number, the manufacturer, the applicability of models, the risk synopsis, required actions, and the compliance deadline. I do plan to make a video each time this biweekly large aircraft report is released. Follow my page to stay up to date on aviation safety alerts, travel tips, and other aviation and airplane knowledge.